Sabi Africa. No Africa. No Africa's pioneering role in science, engineering, and technology.
Sabi African Network, illuminating Africa's narrative as pioneers in science, engineering, and technology.
Across the vast and varied landscapes of Africa, there exists a library of profound ecological wisdom. This is not a library with walls and books, but one written in the rustle of leaves, the tracks of animals, and the memory of the people who belong to the land. For generations beyond counting, communities have held a deep and intimate relationship with their surroundings, a bond woven from careful observation, lived experience, reverence. This ancient knowledge is a living, breathing thing, passed down through stories told by firelight, through the hands of a grandmother teaching a child about medicinal plants, and through the rituals that honor the turning of the seasons. The practice of indigenous ecological knowledge is rooted in an intimate understanding of time, not as the linear ticking of a clock, but as the great recurring cycles of the earth. Communities that live close to the land learn to read the subtle cues that signal shifts. Signs of the wet season, signs of the dry season, periods of flowering, periods of fruiting, times of abundance, times of scarcity. This knowledge is a calendar written in the stars, in the migration of birds, in the behavior of insects. It informs every aspect of life, synchronizing human activities with nature's rhythms. This careful timing is a form of respect. We adapt to nature's tempo. Consider pastoralist communities whose lives move with their herds across vast grasslands. Their grazing systems are a masterful dance of mobility and patience. Elders hold detailed mental maps of huge territories. At the very heart of indigenous conservation are community-held rules and shared values that govern the relationship between people and the natural world. These are expressed as sacred spaces, areas of land, areas of water protected for spiritual reasons. A sacred grove, for instance, may be seen as the home of ancestral spirits or a place of powerful natural energy. As a result, cutting trees, hunting animals, farming within its boundaries is strictly forbidden. These prohibitions are not enforced by fences nor by armed guards, but by a deep-seated cultural respect and a collective understanding of their importance. These groves act as vital sanctuaries, preserving pockets of old-growth forest and the unique species they contain. These sacred sites are, in effect, the world's first protected areas, established long before the concept of national parks was conceived. Scientists often find biodiversity far higher here than in surrounding heavily used landscapes. The enduring power of indigenous knowledge lies in its capacity to adapt and integrate new tools and ideas. Traditional ecological wisdom and modern science are not competitors but partners. Woven together, they create a stronger, a more resilient, a more effective approach to conservation. Local experts hold deep contextual knowledge of place. Scientific tools let us measure, monitor, visualize ecological patterns. Imagine a community wildlife ranger trained from childhood to read leopard tracks, now using a GPS to map territory. Elders know seasonal elephant movements from ancestral stories and work with researchers to place camera traps along migration corridors. For ancient knowledge to continue its vital work of protecting life, it must be supported by a strong foundation, rights, respect, and reciprocity. The most fundamental of these is the legal recognition of community land and resource rights. For centuries, many indigenous communities have been the de facto stewards of their lands, but without formal legal title, they remain vulnerable to displacement by outside interests, large-scale agriculture, mining, or even top-down conservation projects like national parks that exclude local people. Securing land tenure is the essential first step, giving communities the stability and authority to manage their territories for the long term, confident that their children and grandchildren will inherit the lands they have so carefully nurtured. Alongside rights to land, there must be a commitment to fair and equitable benefit sharing. When stewardship brings more wildlife and opportunities, or the discovery of a valuable medicinal plant, that community must be a primary beneficiary. This is not a matter of charity, but of justice. As we stand here on this day, December 15th, 2025, facing the profound ecological challenges of our time, it is easy to feel overwhelmed by the stories of loss. The climate is changing, habitats are shrinking, and species are disappearing at an alarming rate. Yet, scattered across the African continent are countless stories of resilience, of regeneration, and of hope. These are the stories of sacred groves teeming with life, grasslands recovering under the careful guidance of pastoralists, wildlife returning to lands managed by local communities. These successes are not accidents. They are the direct result of a deep and enduring relationship between people and their place, guided by knowledge that has been cultivated over centuries. It teaches us that the most effective conservation is not about building higher fences, but about mending broken relationships. Let us listen to their stories, walk with them on the land, and honor the knowledge they hold as a precious gift. Their wisdom is a compass pointing us toward a future where both people and nature can flourish together. By respecting and protecting this ancient knowledge, we nurture the roots of our shared humanity and harvest a hope for all the generations to come.